What if the only thing separating you from everything you've ever wanted was a single, painful question you've never dared to ask yourself? We chase success stories about visionaries and billionaires, convinced their secrets are locked in complex formulas. But the truth is often found in the most unexpected places. Napoleon Hill wrote that your thoughts paint the canvas of your future. Yet we still wonder if thinking big is so simple. Why do so many stay small? Is it fear? Is it habit? Or is it something deeper we refuse to see? Today, a story about a man with nothing will reveal the answer, and it might just force you to look in the mirror. Stay with us until the end, because this lesson is the one thing they don't teach you in school. At a bustling terminal where lives crossed paths for mere minutes, a homeless man had made his home on the cold stone floor. Day after day, he held out a worn cap, hoping for the kindness of strangers rushing to catch their carriages. He was invisible, a piece of the scenery. One afternoon, his weary eyes spotted a man in a perfectly tailored suit stepping off a train. The fabric was crisp, his shoes shone, and he carried himself with an air of absolute command. The beggar's heart lifted. "This is my lucky day," he thought. "A man like this won't spare a single coin. He'll give me a bundle of cash just to be rid of me." Fueled by this hope, he shuffled over, extending his trembling hand. But the businessman didn't reach for his wallet. Instead, he stopped, his gaze sharp and curious, and asked a question that sliced through the noise of the station. "Tell me," the man said calmly, "do you spend your whole life only taking? Have you ever, even once, offered anything to this world?" The beggar flinched. The question was a physical blow. He stammered, "Sir, I own nothing. I survive on what others discard. I have nothing to give." The businessman gave a slow, knowing nod. "Then you've just explained your entire life to me. I don't deal in charity. I deal in exchange. You bring value to my table. I bring value to yours. But if your hands are empty of offering, my hands must remain empty in return." Without another word, he turned and vanished into the crowd, leaving the beggar frozen in place. That night, the words echoed off the walls of the alley where he slept. Exchange, value, give. They were foreign concepts. He had defined himself by his lack, his emptiness. He replayed the encounter endlessly. The man hadn't been cruel, he had been a mirror, and the reflection was devastating. For the first time, the beggar saw his own mindset as the real chain around his ankle. 2 days passed. He didn't beg. He just watched. On the third morning, his gaze landed on a patch of wild daisies growing stubbornly between the railway ties. They were free. They were beautiful. And in that moment, a spark ignited. What if I don't ask for a gift? What if I offer one first? He gathered a handful of the bright blooms and returned to his usual spot. When a woman dropped a coin into his cup, he smiled, a real smile, and held out a flower. She paused, surprised, then took it. She actually smiled back. Throughout the day, the pattern held. When he had flowers to give, people gave more generously. When the flowers ran out, the donations shrank to almost nothing. It wasn't pity, it was participation. He had tapped into a fundamental human truth. Weeks turned into a month. His cup slowly filled with enough to buy a simple cart. Then, one afternoon, he spotted the businessman once more, waiting on a bench. His heart hammered, but this time not from desperation. He approached, holding out a small bouquet. "Sir, today I have something to exchange. Your kindness for my flowers." The businessman's stern face softened into a genuine grin. He handed over a substantial bill and accepted the blooms. "You've learned the secret," he said. "You're not a beggar anymore. You're a merchant. Remember that." The train carried him away, but his words remained, planting a deeper seed. The man stood there, The bill clutched in his hand, the scent of daisies in the air. A merchant. The word felt strange, but it also felt true. He looked at the station, his prison for so long, and realized he was looking at it through new eyes. He wasn't a man surviving on scraps. He was a supplier of beauty in a gray world. People weren't paying for the flower. They were paying for the moment of connection it created. That realization was his true wealth. He made a decision right there. He packed his meager belongings and walked away from that platform, never to beg again. 6 months later, on that same platform, two sharply dressed men shook hands. One was the original businessman. The other looked familiar, but he couldn't place him. "I'm sorry, have we met?" he asked. The second man chuckled warmly. "Twice, actually. Right here. The first time you gave me a truth I didn't want to hear. The second time you bought flowers from me." The businessman's jaw dropped. "The beggar. But you look like a different person." The flower shop owner smiled. "I am. That question you asked, it shattered my old identity. I realized I was always capable of providing something. I just had to believe it first." They clasped hands once more, not as giver and receiver, but as equals. Then they boarded their respective trains, two merchants heading toward their expanding futures. The mirror doesn't define you. Your willingness to change what you see in it does. If you believe you are powerless, you will find proof everywhere. But if you recognize the value you hold, a skill, an idea, a simple flower, the universe will make room for you at the table. So stop asking for a handout and start asking what you can hand over. Your future is waiting for you to see yourself clearly. If this story planted a seed in your mind, please water it with a thumbs up and let us know in the comments. What is one hidden talent or quality you possess that you've been undervaluing? I'm reading them. We'll see you in the next story.